Hi, it's Judith here. This is my second video in this mini-series about trauma. Watching too much American TV, trauma. And I did post last week about some of the effects of trauma as listed on the Mind website. Flashbacks, panic attacks, anxiety, inability to relax, being on what we call hyper alert, looking for the next thing that's going to go wrong, poor sleep, low self-esteem, and dissociation, which is something you may not have come across. Basically, you're not actually in yourself, you're not actually here, you've stepped away. I had a client who described it as if he was living life the other side of a glass brick wall, a thick glass brick wall. So life was sort of going on and he was observing it, but he wasn't part of it. Now that's a pretty horrible list of things that can happen as a result of trauma, whether it's in childhood, adulthood, or both. And unfortunately, it's often both because people tend to repeat patterns learned in childhood. Simple, for instance, picking a partner who is not unlike an abusive parent, for instance, for an extreme example. The other difficulty is that people often don't realise that it's related to a trauma, particularly if it was a childhood one. So there is no link. And I do get people come to me and say, I don't know why I'm feeling all these things. I don't know why I'm having panic attacks and feeling anxious all the time, because my life is fine. It has its ups and downs like anybody's, but my life is fine. And of course, their life now is fine, but the trauma is still having an effect from however long ago. Sometimes they've linked their feelings now, their negative feelings now, to maybe not the right thing or not the only thing. And when I start to talk about the possibility of trauma, and I don't often use that word, but start to explore with clients their background, I sometimes hit a bit of resistance to accepting that what happened to them was bad or in any way unusual. I've had it said to me, well, it wasn't that bad. It was okay. And I got through it and I escaped. And again, there's this view that if I've left the situation, everything's now okay and it's all in the past. And that isn't true. So there may be a trauma that's causing what's currently going on. Not always by any manner of means. Very frequently it's a current situation. It may be one that isn't remembered. It may be one that for whatever reason the person can't accept was as bad as it actually was. Particularly if the trauma was caused by people who, for instance, were carers in childhood and should have been the ones who they could absolutely rely on for unconditional love and safety and protection and all the things that a growing child needs. But even in adulthood, trauma from a relationship, when you're in a close relationship with someone and all of a sudden either they change or you realise that there is a level of abuse of some kind going on, then it is really hard to accept. It's hard to accept as a child, as I say, that those who should unconditionally love you are not, in fact, doing quite the reverse, and in later life, those who you believed you were in a good relationship with, you actually weren't. And of course there's all sorts of other traumas. There's external situations, things that happen to you, things that people witness. Had a client many years ago who who it was the son that actually there were problems with, but I was working with the father to help them deal with it, who witnessed his mother being killed crossing the road. I mean, how does anybody recover from that? So it isn't always trauma that causes those symptoms that I listed. If it is trauma, people are often unaware of it, can't remember it, don't believe it was as bad as I, as an external observer, would say, or they just can't accept that the people involved would actually have done such awful things to them. The good news is that it can all be dealt with. The symptoms can be dealt with if that's all that anybody wants to do, or we can do some work on the original incident or start of a series of incidents. And I'm going to talk about that more next time in the next video. So until then, I hope you're enjoying the warm but dry weather. If you're holidaying, I hope you're having fun. If you're looking forward to a holiday, I hope it all goes smoothly and you enjoy yourself. And I shall see you next time. But until then, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, take care. Bye.